is...
Hey, it's me.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Over the last couple of weeks and months, I have been really thinking about different ways that I can improve my YouTube content for you guys. So if you guys have been here before from the beginning, you will know how inconsistent I have been with my YouTube videos, my social media content in general, and I'm really looking at different ways that I can improve that and be more consistent in the content that I'm providing or creating and the quality of content that I'm putting out there. So I don't know how many of you guys know this, but I am a psychology major and I am working towards becoming a psychologist. And beside that fact, I've always been super big on mental health and making sure I take care of myself. And going forward and kind of incorporating that into my YouTube channel. So going forward, I am thinking about doing mental health Mondays, where I will upload content relating to mental health, whether it's discussions, whether it's, exercises, different things that you can do to improve your mental health, stories about different things that I have dealt with or struggled with in my past, tips, tricks, all that stuff. So I kind of wanted to use today's video to get the ball rolling. So here are 10 things I did to improve my mental health and overall well-being. So number 1 is going to be physical activity and exercise. This doesn't necessarily mean going to the gym. It could be doing yoga. It could be a dance class. It could be swimming. It could be going outside to go run or walk. Some days you might not feel motivated to do a particular activity where you can substitute it for something else. It really doesn't have to be, a specific thing. It's just getting up and getting moving. And I found this has been really beneficial for me and a lot of people that I've spoken to, actually, that it really does help improve your overall well-being. It improves your mood. So that's my big one that I like to do when I'm feeling down or out of it or groggy or lazy, is just kind of like getting myself up and moving. Especially I find if I've been slacking for like the week on working out or whatever, because I do go to the gym and I sometimes I really do struggle to get there. And I find that when I'm having that kind of week where I'm just, not feeling it, it really does affect how I'm feeling overall. So number 2 is meditation and affirmation. I find that this has really helped me kind of get my day going on a more positive note, and also end my day on a really, good feeling, so that I can go to bed with a clear mind, with a clear headspace. And sometimes I struggle to sleep. I do struggle with insomnia, and it kind of helps me clear all that chatter that's going on in my brain and settle it so that I can sleep better when I can. It has definitely improved my insomnia as well. It used to be way worse before, and it's definitely not as bad, and I don't know if it's because of this specifically, but it has improved a lot. So I find that it really does help by getting into a positive, clear headspace. And then affirmations to really kind of refocus my attention, refocus my goals, and just figure out where I want to go. And I know where I want to go, and just kind of realign with where I want to go. So affirmations really do help me realign to where I want to go, where I'm headed, and kind of just get everything on the same page when I'm starting my morning. So the third thing that I find really helps me get into a better headspace and really helps me mentally is having an outlet. And me personally, I don't like talking to people about what I'm going through. I don't like talking to people about my feelings, venting, expression, like any of that stuff. I don't like talking about it to other people. I don't like people knowing my business in that sense, or knowing me. Really, I'm very bad at opening up emotionally and talking about things that can be seen as vulnerable, or secretive or anything like that. I just really don't like talking about that stuff with other people. So it really depends on who you are as a person, on what your outlet is going to be, and don't make it social media. Although you can use social media as an expression of how you're feeling, I wouldn't recommend it being the place that you go to vent. So don't put your business on social media. Don't put, specific little details on social media. Like, I feel like when going to social media, you can use it as an outlet of expression based on that emotion. So whether you are an artist or a singer, or you do music or whatever, like whatever creative aspect you're using on social media, you can put your emotion into that, but don't put specific details onto social media, just because you guys already know how social media is. So I definitely wouldn't recommend social media as being your outlet. So whether it's a therapist, whether it's a friend, a family member, me personally, I like to journal, and everybody journals differently, and it really is what works best for you and how you like to express yourself. And you can even use a creative form to express yourself as well, which is something that I'm going to be talking about soon. But yeah, I like to journal. I find that I feel like there's like two different ways of journaling, and there's the one where you can use prompts, and then one where you kind of just like let it flow. And I have done both of them, but personally I prefer the one where you just let it all go, let it all out. And I use them really for different things, different ways that you can use them. So if I'm feeling a specific emotion to an extreme, like I'm really upset, I'm really sad or hurt or even happy, I might use the one where I just like let it go and kind of just really express like everything that I'm feeling, everything that's going on in my life, like everything that I kind of just need to get out of there. Whereas I use prompts if I'm trying to work on a specific thing. So like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like shadow work, where you use specific prompts in that sense to kind of get over something, or build on something, or work on something in a specific sense like that. Whereas here you're just kind of like letting out, letting go, expressing yourself. Number 4 is what I was gonna say earlier, which is a creativity in some sense. So I have kind of forced myself, because I've always been super creative, but I usually just don't kind of give myself that time to be creative, or to sit down and actually do what I enjoy doing sometimes, which is another thing that you guys really need to do when you're trying to work on your mental health. But create a creative outlet in some sense. So whether it's drawing or dancing or music or whatever that it may be, I kind of force myself to take a day out of the week, or an hour or something, to focus on something in the creative aspect. So whether I sit down and paint for a little bit, because I do enjoy that, even though I'm not super good at it, or I draw, or I try different things where I have to use my hands. So I tried sewing, I tried knitting. I'm still knitting a blanket that I just put away and just never finished yet. Like my grandma used to like do crochet, so like I just got some stuff, so I might try crocheting, like just different things where I'm just doing, getting my creative juices flowing, and that has really helped me as well. So that's a big one that I try to push myself to do, like, do something creative every week, whether it's for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or an hour, or like maybe you want to spend the whole day and do like a nice like painting day or whatever. So I find that's very helpful too when it comes to like my overall well-being and mental health. It just kind of puts me into a more positive place. Okay, so number 5 is getting yourself on a proper sleep schedule and making sure that you get enough sleep every single day or every single night when you can. So I know this isn't the easiest thing in the world. It's probably like one of the hardest things that I had to do was kind of get myself into a routine, get myself on a sleep schedule, because like I mentioned before, I do suffer with insomnia. So some nights I did not sleep. I barely slept. Like I had sleeping pills, and like I personally don't like taking them, so like I just wouldn't sleep, and it's really hard to function the next day when you're just running off of no sleep. So I had to kind of like figure, do like everything I did, or had to try different things to kind of get myself onto a schedule and a sleep routine. And I'm very much a night owl, so having a job where I start super early in the morning is really hard because of that, and because like by the time I end up getting some sleep, it's time for me to wake up. So I struggled with this for so long, and it was really affecting how I felt during the day, how I felt like at night. I was getting really anxious, like about having to wake up in the morning, because I'm like, it's already, late. And being able to really get myself on a set routine has helped tremendously, but it is really hard, especially because, you work certain jobs that don't really allow for you to have a set schedule depending on what it is. I know when I worked at a restaurant, it was like some days I would close, some days I would open, some days, it would just be fluctuating. Sometimes I had multiple jobs where it's just like you barely get any sleep, and it's understandable because like, there's so many things that you're trying to fit into your day, and it's hard. But sometimes you have to sacrifice that social life in order to accommodate your sleep schedule. So that's what I had to do. Like after work, instead of staying up and going on like, social media, I would just have to force myself to go to sleep. Like I would just lay there and force myself till I fall asleep, like just lay there in the dark. But yeah, that was a really, really, really big one for me, getting myself onto a routine, a sleep schedule. And now it's a little bit easier because I've been doing it for a little bit. So it's like I go to sleep at around 9 o'clock. I wake up at around 5 o'clock, and I'm up for the whole day until 9 o'clock. Sometimes on the weekends it varies a little, like I go off schedule a little bit, but it's not to the extreme that it was where I was like up 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I was staying up all night. I would not sleep at all, like all-nighters, whether it was intentional or not. I would barely get any sleep, so it was really affecting me. I was getting a lot of headaches. I was, just not feeling good at all, and then having to go to work and benefit you if you're dealing with certain mental health issues as well. Okay, so number 6 is setting realistic and obtainable goals. This is also one that I struggled with a lot because I have such big ideas and such big dreams, and I'm super hard on myself. So a lot of the times I would do so much during the day where I'm trying to complete like everything that I have in mind, and if I just don't complete like one single task, I'm just like so mad at myself, so hard on myself, because I'm like, you should do more, like you need to do more. Takes time to complete these things, and although it feels like hell going through the process, sometimes the process is so important, which is something that I also learned. But you just have to be patient, because like, you know, it'll come. You just have to wait and work, and you know, you don't just jump up the flight of stairs. You have to take it every step at a time, and it's hard to do that sometimes and feel like you're being productive and feel like you're getting somewhere. Sometimes it feels like, okay, I'm never gonna get there. And that's one thing that I really had to work on, is like taking it step by step and being like, okay, so maybe I'm not gonna have my whole house built today, but I can start with the floors, and then the walls, and then the this, and then the that, and then eventually it all comes together. But it's a process, and it takes time, and like, you know, saying like, okay, today I'm going to, you know, do this. Today I'm going to do this. And that was one thing that I also had to do, was set some goals for myself throughout the day. So I like to work out, and I'm really hard on myself if I don't work out. I'm trying to learn how to speak Spanish, so I'm trying to dedicate a specific portion of my week or schedule to, you know, learning Spanish, whether it's like an hour a week or an hour every day, or whatever it may be. And when I don't complete it, I'm just like down on myself really bad, which is so bad for your mental health. So now I've created a weekly schedule where I'm like, okay, every Sunday, an hour of Spanish, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll go to the gym. So like, as long as I complete those specific goals that I set throughout the week, I'll feel more accomplished. And if I go above and beyond and say I go to the gym 5 days a week instead of 3, it won't negatively impact me. Whereas I'm here like thinking in my head, like I'll go to the gym here, and not realizing like I have other things that I need to do throughout the day too. And I'm just like, okay, well, I should have went to the gym. I could have went to the gym, you know, but I'm like, okay, that's not my gym day. So I have other things scheduled in, and it's like a little bit easier for me to visualize it. I don't know if that helps you guys, like just like planning. You don't have to plan everything, just like big goals. So like obviously going to the gym isn't a huge goal, but it's like a mini goal that is obtainable, and it's something that I want to accomplish. So I'll put that in my weekly schedule, and I'll be able to maneuver it around. So it's not like I'm going to the gym at 5 o'clock. It's like I'm going to the gym on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It doesn't matter if I go at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. as long as I go there that day. Okay, so number 7 on our list is being very cautious of what I put into my body. So I'm not an extremely healthy eater by any means, but I do try. So I really haven't ate fast food in such a long time, and I feel really good about that. Even though I do enjoy fast food, the last time I had it, I had cut it out for a little bit, and then I was like, okay, I just feel like it one day, so I tried it, and I actually hated it. I was like, okay, this is ridiculously gross. I'm not sure what I was like remembering when I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, it's so good. I just want like a cheeseburger. And then I had it, I was like, it's so greasy, it's so this, it's so that. And yeah, but I have cut it out for a while now, like maybe like a couple months. I haven't really ate fast food, and if I do, I try to like lean towards like the healthier like fast food options, if that makes any sense. So that, but also like being really cautious about what I put in my body. So I don't really drink, I don't smoke, I don't, do any drugs. So I found, I think it was, I've never really been a big drinker anyways, but I think it was last summer or the 2 summers ago, during COVID, I was going out a lot more than I usually do, and I was on a terrible sleep schedule. I was drinking more than I usually do, and I was feeling overall like shit. I was feeling terrible, and it was really affecting, my mental health. I didn't even realize that it was doing half of the things that it was doing, and it was making me like this like horrible person, because I was just, my moods were fluctuating. I was just terrible. Like first I was lacking sleep. I was out all night, like I was just with my friends drinking, like, and then like in the morning I was feeling like trash, and it was really affecting me like mentally, physically. So, and it was like the only time like really that I actually drank like that, because I don't really drink, and I never got drunk or anything. Like I don't like blackout drink or anything like that, but it was like more than I usually drink anyways, and I don't like drinking already because it's not good for your body. But yeah, so now I'm like more strict on it because I know how it affects me mentally. I know what it does to like me and my body and my mind and all that stuff. So I don't really drink anymore, like really at all, and I don't smoke. I actually hate cigarettes. Like weed is okay, I don't smoke weed, but yeah, so I'm very cautious of what I put into my body. So I've been doing a lot of research about things that I can add to my diet to kind of help increase health benefits or whatever and whatnot, but I'm not really on a strict diet, and I just find that being on whatever my diet is right now is fine for me. It's not like super strict. I'm not really restrictive in what I'm eating or how much I eat. I don't really have like a unhealthy relationship with food anyways, but just being like mindful of the things that you put into your body, because you just never know. So I think we're at number 8 now. So number 8 on my list was taking the time out for myself. This was a really important one for me as well, because I was a big people pleaser, and I had to realize that it's okay to just say no. It's okay to, say, I'd rather stay in, I'd rather be inside, I'd rather, do this for me, whether it's recharging or whatever. So I am a very big introvert, and going out once a week or even once in a while is a lot depending on what I'm doing. So I found that like after I would have to recharge and regroup and take the time to be with myself and just connect with myself and recharge, and whether that's sleeping or just watching TV, anything was very helpful for me. And a lot of people are like, you're so boring, you're this, you're that, because like for me, I'd rather just stay home and hang out with my dog. And people really just don't understand how I find that so fun and enjoyable, but it's so fun and enjoyable to just be home with my dog. And like, even though we might not stay home, we might go out for a walk, we might play in the backyard, we might do a bunch of different things with each other, or we might just relax and watch a movie. And I found that was so helpful for me to just realize that it's okay to take that time for yourself and do what you want to do and just relax and chill And I found that was the hardest thing, is like I just don't know how to relax, and I don't know how to do nothing without feeling guilty about it. Like I could be using this time for something else, even if I worked 6 days a week or 13 days a week, and then I have 1 day off and I'm just like, okay, what am I gonna do? It's okay to just do nothing. It's okay to just relax. It's okay to take that time and be like, you know? And I didn't feel that way before. I didn't think that it was okay before, because I'm like, I'm not in a place where I want to be yet. So who am I to, take a break? Who am I to, relax? Because there's things that I could be doing. There's things that I need or should or whatever to be doing that is the thing that could get me to where I want to be. But what's the point of working yourself to the ground and working yourself to death and, hurting yourself and making yourself sick and all of that stuff to get to a goal that you might not even reach because you're not taking care of yourself? So, number 9. So this one was really big for me because I did struggle with this a lot. And if you guys watched my tattoo tour, which I'll link above, I talked about, how I was struggling with this idea of self-love, and it was one of my first tattoos. But it's a journey. It is such a journey to get to a point where you actually feel like you love yourself and, accept yourself and all of the stuff that you want to feel, I guess, towards yourself. It's a journey, and it's like one that you'll never stop going through because you're always changing. You're always, growing and whatnot. Which is good. It's good to grow. It's good to, move out of a spot that you were in before. It's good to outgrow things in your life because you're not supposed to be the same person that you were 10 years ago or 5 years ago or even last year. You're not. And that was really hard for me to realize, I'm not this person anymore, but also to continuously love who I am and who I'm becoming and all of that stuff. And, journey to self-love is one that I'm going to be talking about a lot because it's one that I really did struggle with, deeply. And I still do struggle with occasionally because sometimes I get in my own head and I get to a point where I'm like, okay, what the hell? But once you get to a point where you're more comfortable with who you are, you get to a point where you're like, okay, I might not love myself every single day, but I like myself, I tolerate myself, but it's a journey. And once you get to the point where you accept that and you accept yourself and you can love yourself and know that you have things to work on. You can love yourself and know that there's areas in your life that you want to improve and you want to grow. So it's not that you have to be perfect because nobody's perfect. It's just, accepting this is who I am. This is what I want to improve and this is how I'm going to do it. Whether that's, mentally, emotionally, physically. And, it's hard sometimes because you go through certain things that make you feel like, okay, this is not who I want to be, or this is not who I am, but whatever. So you might have a situation where you're just not yourself and you do something and you're like, that's not who I am, even though whether it's a situation where you're like, I did something and it's so out of character, that's not who I am. But where do we go from here? You can use that to move forward. You can use that to help motivate you to be a better person and to grow into somebody that you love. I have a friend that is really hard on themselves even though they shouldn't be, and just dwelling on the past I hated who I was back then. I hated how I behaved. I hated, like how I treated people back then. And although I can see the growth in them, and I can see that, they have come a long way from who they were back then, it doesn't matter what I can see. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter how I feel, because, until that person can see that about themselves, and until that person can let go of that and, move forward from that, it doesn't matter. And until they can learn to love themselves, the good, the bad, and the ugly, it doesn't matter what other people think. And, it's just a process. But once you get to that point where you're like, okay, that's life. You're not gonna be perfect. I had to learn that so many times, where I'm just like, what the hell are you doing, Shonte? And that's such a mental burden on a lot of people, is this idea of, who am I? Who do I want to be, and how do I get there? And getting there with all of the past of who you were in the past, and using that as a motivational tool, using that as a lesson, instead of carrying it with you. I'm not at a point where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love myself so much, like I just don't have bad days ever. Like, it's never that. It's just that it's so much better than where I was, though, where I'm just like, like, I hate myself. You can always be your own worst critic, the same way that you treat other people, where you're like, no, don't talk about yourself like that. No, like, I don't know why you see yourself like that. The same way that you see other people differently than they see you, or they see themselves, is the same way other people see you, but you can't see it yourself. It's a process, and I encourage you guys all to continue on your process and your journey of self-love, because it is hard. Number 10, how I improve my mental health and well-being is by setting boundaries. This one was so important, and it was so hard for me, because I am a people pleaser, and I was so worried actually about losing people in my life, that I would keep pushing my own boundaries from them, letting them overstep, letting them do things that I wasn't comfortable with, and doing things that I wasn't comfortable with, because I was afraid of losing people in my life. Whereas now I'm just like, okay, I don't care who comes and who goes, and the people that are willing to be in your life, that are meant to be in your life, aren't going to push those boundaries, aren't going to disrespect you, and aren't going to be mad when you hold those boundaries up. They're gonna respect what you say. And that was a hard thing for me because of that, because I was like, okay, well, if I don't do it, they're gonna be mad. If I don't do it, they're not gonna talk to me no more. Like all of those things that you think when you're like younger, when you're in that position where you're like, okay, like I don't want to lose my friends, I don't want to lose, like my boyfriend or whatever. Like things that when I look back and I'm just like, okay, that was so stupid. People that I want in my life anyways, the people that I think want to be in my life and deserve to be in my life, they're not getting mad at me for holding my boundaries. They're not getting mad at me when I say no. They're not getting mad at those things. They're respectful of that. And if they're gonna go, they're gonna go anyways. And there's no point in hurting yourself to accommodate others. And once you realize that and you're like, okay, no, you literally start saying no so many times. It's just like, okay, no. And I still struggle with that sometimes. It's important to have boundaries. It really, really did improve my life overall. Like my overall well-being, my overall mental health has improved significantly. And it's not just one of these things. It's kind of a combination of all of them, where it's just now it's just a lifestyle, a routine, where it's just I know what I have to do. But getting there is so hard. It's so hard. And yeah, I want to really encourage you guys to, you know, incorporate some of these things into your daily lives and incorporate other things that you might need or find useful to improve your mental health and your well-being. It's not an overnight thing where you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel amazing. I meditated once last night. It's not like that at all. It's a lot of people, they don't like to exercise, and well, once they do, it's just like, okay, I might not like the act of exercising, but I like how it makes me feel afterwards, or I like what it does for my body, or whatever it may be. Guys, in the comment section below, leave one thing that you're trying to work towards within. One thing you're working on for yourself, one thing you're working towards. So that's mine, working towards, you know, being comfortable in public spaces alone and taking myself on dates. But yeah, so this is an amazing start to our first ever Mental Health Monday. And I'm open to any suggestions, things that you guys want to discuss, content that you might enjoy every Monday. Just kind of addressing mental health in a way that is a little bit more freeing and fun and less stigmatized. So let me know what you guys think, how you guys feel, like anything that you want to see. So I'm excited to see how this plays out. I'm excited to see where this goes. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this and other videos. And thank you guys so much for watching the video. Have an amazing day. Love you.
Hey, it's me.